This app right here I'm going to launch is Voxox, and where we are right now is the messages screen. So these are all of the people that I have conversations going with. You can see that they are sometimes text messages, there's video in these threads, and there's all kinds of different contacts in here, and they came directly from my address book. And so if I go and I look at my contacts, what I'm seeing here, all the contacts that are inside my, in this case, iPhone, alphabetized. It just sort of slurped all those right into the application, and then it shows me, if I filter just by Voxox users, it's going to show me which of the users are currently in my address book, but also using Voxox, so that I know that if I want to talk to Joe, it's going to be free. I can call him, I can chat with him. If he wasn't a Voxox user, I could still reach him. So let's look at somebody that's not a Voxox user. I'm going to go into the all list, and let's see, Carissa here isn't on Voxox yet, and so I can call her phone, or I can invite her to Voxox, even though she's not using Voxox. And the rates for these calls are very, very low. So you can see here, this mobile number of carries is a cent a minute or a cent a message. Well, one of the nice things is that when you sign up for Voxox, we give you some credit. So I have a little extra credit because I topped up my account with some more money, but when you sign up for Voxox, you get $1. So that's reflected here. So you get to call or message any of those people for free, essentially. I can call anybody. I can do my +1 for the United States, and then I can start pecking out numbers, and it's going to be able to connect. It'll actually tell me how much that call is going to cost. So if that was an international call, instead of saying United States a penny a minute, it would say, you know, France 1.2 cents a minute, or whatever the rate is for France, and I can call anyone anywhere in the world, even if they're not a Voxox user. But if they are a Voxox user, it's always going to be free to communicate with them. So if I want to send Brian a message, I can do a couple things. I can open this up and send a picture, a video. I can access my gallery that's on my phone. So if I wanted to send something that I had already taken, I can do that. So if I go to capture, it's going to ask if it can use the camera. Right now it's taking a picture of the table, or I can send a video, and that'll send instantly to this contact of mine. I can also send a location. So let's see how we're doing in this convention hall with not the greatest connectivity. I'm not actually on the Wi-Fi, so we'll see if it boots me off. But basically it'll pull up a map, it'll drop a pin, and I can send that to Brian, and we can meet up for lunch, and he'll know exactly where to go. I can even fax him. So I can go ahead and add a fax. I can do that with the camera. If that was a document, I take a picture. It's going to convert that into a fax. So if you're trying to close escrow on a house or send something to your doctor, you know they probably still want a fax. And this is a great way to send it without having to have a fax machine, because I know I don't have one. And I can just hit send, and that fax will get sent. The other thing that you'll find in here is that I can share contacts. So if I want to make sure that Brian has Amy's contact information, I can send it, and it'll send instantly, and I'll have both her Voxox number and her mobile number and any other information that I have about her in my contact list. The other nice thing in here is that I can go into my settings and change my caller ID. So Voxox is actually going to give you a free phone number when you sign up, but if you want it to look like your regular mobile phone number is making phone calls to your friends, you can go in here and change your caller ID. The other thing I can do is ring a whole bunch of phones at once. So if I want my desk phone to ring, my mobile phone to ring, and the Voxox app on my desktop to ring all at the same time when somebody calls me, this is where I do that setting, and I can add basically as many numbers as I could have. And then the other thing that I can do here is turn on Do Not Disturb right from here, and make sure that those settings are exactly the way that I want. Back into the contacts really quickly. If I wanted to put together a group of these people, you'll notice here that I've got groups, and these are groups of, for example, the Breakfast Club. So these are the people that I most commonly share breakfast with with at work. We have a meeting that happens in the mornings, and if I want to ask them, you know, what everybody wants for breakfast, I can say bagels. And they will all get that message and be able to respond to me. So I might be getting some very hungry messages here in a minute. So I can basically call and text anyone I want as a group or as an individual for very, very inexpensive rates if they're not Voxox users, or for free if they are Voxox users.
And so as you talk about your core value proposition against your competitors, can you sum it up for RCR Wireless News?
Yeah, what you're looking at is tremendous value getting that free phone number when you sign up, the $1 to try out the app, which is basically 100 minutes of calling or 100 messages. So that's not just a drop in the bucket. And then additionally, all of our rates to our location, to any location, we're talking mobile phones around the world, anywhere you want to call, our rates are about 20% lower than our competition.
And how are you able to offer lower rates than your competition?
Well, one of the things that we are, instead of just developing an application, we are actually a phone company. We're a real phone company that built an app on top of our infrastructure rather than the other way around, which is an app company trying to be a phone company. And so that allows us some flexibility with regulations, with being able to acquire numbers and minutes for much less money than our competitors, and we pass that savings on to our users.